We have some crazy and exciting news today coming from Cycling News. They posted an article about do new wheel and tire combinations recommendations affect your safety? This is going to change your view on hookless tire situations coming forward. You guys already know my stance on hookless tires, but in today's article, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. And this is probably going to make you guys want to rethink your tire configuration going for your hookless wheels. Stay tuned. Editor, roll that intro. Camera two. We got two cameras now set up at GC Performance headquarters. Camera two, and then editor go to camera one. Camera one. And we're going to camera one right there. Cool. Camera one, camera two, and then just do like boom boom. Okay, guys. So you guys have already know my stance on hookless wheels. I always talked about as an agenda push by these big name manufacturers because of the fact that it is easier processing manufacturer state for them directly. No real benefit to consumer, just a cost savings because it takes less cost to make a hookless rim and it's easier to produce. So coming out by ETRTO. What is this? What is this company about? ETRTO is European Tire and Rim Technical Organization. This is an organization that basically tests safety guidelines for a wheel and tire combination to make sure it's safe for the end consumer. They are not pushed to sell product. They are not just about bicycles. They are everything that is a rim, tire, and valve situation going on. So they have no agenda really to push any kind of product onto it. They are basically a safety development team. And my rep or a rep from SRAM or Zip has said that usually they follow their guidelines to the T. Continental, Zip, Enve, Schwabel, Hunt, all these big name guys out there will go ahead and kind of follow their guidelines to whatever they say for your tire recommendations for a hookless wheel set, even your tubeless wheel set, whatever it is. Usually when a company is making a wheel set, this is what they kind of follow. Well, European Tire and Rim Technical Organization has come out for the new 2023 guidelines. And it has kind of contradicted what Enve and Zip have been saying for a while now. Now, each year there will be kind of this new standard for the industry. And then what ETRTO will do is they'll go ahead and test that standard to be like, okay, is this safe for the consumer? Is this best for the consumer? Brings me to my point of what they just released in 2023 standards, which goes against 2022 standards. Now, they set the standards again for 2022, but after seeing results of products and after seeing how products perform and results for end consumers, they have some issues. Basically saying that specifically the smallest tire recommendation for use on a 25 millimeter internal width wheel is 29 millimeter. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's a pretty odd size. Usually majority of all these tire companies out there and wheel companies out there are 28 millimeter minimal. And to back it up right here, we have right here on Zip's hookless tire compatibility chart, 700 by 28C is compatible with a 25 millimeter hookless rim on their NSW 353 on their 303 Firecrest. Going to Enve, same thing. On their Enve SCS Road, their flagship model, a 27 millimeter tire will work on a 25 millimeter hookless rim. This is going directly against now what ETRTO is saying. These are the guidelines that these companies follow specifically. Why is this important to you? Maybe it's the fact that this organization like ETRTO has been seeing, and their tests have been coming up in conclusions that they want a wider tire to go on this rim. Zip 353 or the Zip 353 has come out, I think, in 2021. Enve's SCS came out in May 2022 with a 25 millimeter internal hook, and 25 millimeter internal width wheel. This is becoming the new industry standard. That's all fine and dandy, but it's always been said that you can run a 28 millimeter on there. But there's been no issue really on that. So, what does this mean for the end consumer, and what do wheel companies actually think of this new recommendation? Even Zip came out flat out and said that as participants, Zip is actually a part of this organization. So Zip is a part of this organization, like I just said. Zip is one of the large manufacturers of bike wheels, also a member of ETRTO. With this unique position in the industry, we asked Zip first, and the brand responded empathetically, saying, as participants in ETRTO standards meetings, we knew the compatibility table would change. We understand the updates, but they contradict our position, which was being last year's of their tire compatibility chart. Zip has tested and designed and developed several popular and professionally proven wheel sets with 23 and 25 millimeter internal widths. We know there have been enough wheel sets ridden in the past several years with 28C tires on 25 millimeter rims to prove that the combination is safe and delivers many proven performance benefits. Now, this is true. A lot of pro teams are riding 28 millimeter wheels. Even in today's pro peloton, they're still riding this with a 25 millimeter internal width with a 28 millimeter tire. But we have seen countless blowouts, like I've mentioned before. I myself, having this position on this, you can imagine how many people have reached out to me through Instagram direct messages, emails, and also phone calls of their tires just sitting in their living room, pumped up to the recommended PSI for that tire and also compatible for that wheel. And I've seen countless blowouts, if not Zip, if not Enve, if not with a compatible tire being Pirelli, a Goodyear, a Continental, of just sitting in the room, and it happens all the time. I don't think that's just I'm not even going to put my opinion on the hookless wheels, but it happens too many times for me to say I trust it, if that makes sense. So now this company came out, or this organization came out saying 29 millimeter is the minimum that they recommend. Basically, Zip goes on to say all their feelings on this, all their stances on it, saying that they've done countless tests to say that 28 has worked with it. It has been proven. This is their choice. This is what's going on right now. All this stuff about what's going on with Zip. Given the fact that ETRTO has basically said, hey, we think that 29 millimeter is the minimal tire for this. Then Enve also kind of gave its take on it. They said, at Enve, we understand the importance of providing tire and rim compatibility guidances to our consumers. While we appreciate recommendations from ETRTO, we believe it should have included 25 millimeter inner rim widths for pairing with 28 millimeter tires. So Enve still believes that 28 millimeter tires should be on that spectrum. Enve has been designing, testing, selling hookless road and gravel wheels since 2016. In that time, we have established that the combinations is not only safe, but the pinnacle of performance on the road. So Enve, even though they got that ruling by ETRTO, they still believe that a 28 millimeter tire is still on there. Given the fact that this organization that has no agenda, no profits coming in from this, they deemed it not unsafe, but they rather have a 29 millimeter tire on there. They're saying that, Enve's saying that a 28 millimeter works fine with their rims that they've designed since 2022. Now, in this article, they also go on to reach out to other companies like Schwabel and like Continental. They both have 28 millimeter tires that are compatible within this same kind of genre of a 25 millimeter hookless wheel. And they're kind of still sticking to that, saying that we are within the guidelines of 2022. Granted, the chart has changed to 2023 and their position has changed to 2023, but they still feel that 28 millimeter tires are okay with this. What does this mean for the end consumer? What are they recommending you should do? So this is a company that tests standards and tests compatibility for consumer safety and best result for end consumer products. This is basically coming from them saying, as you consider what to do, it is important to remember that ETRTO is a recommendation, not a standard. That means not every brand will have the same stance. In this case, the recommendation has revisited an existing recommendation already in use and made a change. This does not mean you need to immediately stop using a combination you know and trust. This is not a stop ride recall situation. Instead, it's a general agreement between brands to make it easy for consumers to know that will work. So they're basically saying, however, updating the guidance for our existing products ensures that when a rider comes to purchase new tires, they can be sure the tires have been developed and provided with the best interface. Basically saying that if you want the best optimal protection and ride performance and ride safety, to swap out 29s, but if you're already riding existing 28, they kind of say ride it out, use the tire to its fullest, and then when it comes time to replace, consider a 29 millimeter tire. Now, who sells 29 millimeter tires? Enve is a part of that group where they sell a 27 and also a 29 millimeter tire, but the next usual jump up from a 28 is a 30 millimeter tire. I just thought that this was pretty crazy, this whole article. This came out literally a day ago. And I was actually talking to a Zip rep today in store about the situation where he basically said, as long as you follow the ETRTO compatibility for tire, because they're kind of going about a program for Zip and stuff like that, and I was kind of talking about hookless wheels, and we're kind of going back and forth, and he says, as long as you kind of follow their guidelines, you should be okay with tire compatibility. But I just find it kind of like, contradicting, like they said, that they just come out with this article. It's crazy because literally every single tire company is pushing 28s. That's all we have in stock is 28s. That's our most popular selling tire. Now it's just like 1 more millimeter, and now you have to redo everyone's tires for a hookless tire. And you would be surprised at how many people come into my store, because there are a ton of older people in my sport who buy a bike with hookless wheels that don't know they have them, who buy a pair of wheels that don't know they're hookless wheels, who buy tires that aren't recommended for hookless wheels, who still buy clinchers for hookless wheels that pump them up to 120 psi. There are so many people that are uneducated about this system that are still buying uncompatible tires with these wheels. And for this to change again another 29 millimeter for someone like that, if this becomes a standard, it could be pretty dangerous. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video.